Hello, good morning to you, and many thanks for joining us. You're watching Galaxy Today, coming to you from Galaxy Television. It's a Monday. My name is Justin Akadonia.
And of course, he's joined by Uche Onyekuche. I did promise you on Friday that Justin will be back, and it's good to have you back, Justin.
Yes, feels good to be back.
Okay, so we're just a few days away from the gubernatorial election, and we're hoping, we believe that this will not be postponed like the presidential was postponed. And beyond that, of course, we're looking at the suspension of the governor of Ogun State, as well as that of Rochas Okorocha. And beyond that, and every other thing concerning the Guba poll that will be holding this Saturday. And like Justin would always say, to be part of this program, you can at least send SMS to the number that will be written on the screen. And of course, follow us on our social media handle using hashtag Galaxy Today. Remember, do not call, just send an SMS. Right, Justin?
Yes, all right. The All Progressives Congress wielded the big stick suspending 2 governors and the minister and querying another governor for alleged anti-party activities. Rising from a meeting of its National Working Committee presided over by the National Chairman, Comrade Adams Oshomole, the party announced the suspension of Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha, his counterpart from Ogun State, Senator Ibikula Amosun. It also issued a query to Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. And of course, reactions have been trailing that particular development with the Imo APC, calling for the head, as it were, of the national chairman of the APC, that's Comrade Adams Oshomole. We'll be looking at that, and on the flip side, we'll start counting down to the 2019 governorship polls. We have guests here in Lagos and across Nigeria. But let's just take this quick soundbite of the Imo APC reacting to the suspension of Rochas Okorocha, and we'll come talk some more. To join us again.
On what strength did they suspend the governor? On what recommendations did they base their actions on? And yesterday night at about 9 p.m., I was forced to convene a very unusual emergency state executive committee meeting. We looked at the matter in line with the constitutional provisions, and we discovered that, as usual, Mr. Adams Oshomole has erred. And it's not surprising to us because I have severally also appealed to Mr. President and Nigerians of goodwill to call Adams Oshomole to order. These are matters that can also be tested in court. Imo State APC does not have a governorship candidate under the platform of APC. Senator Hope Uzodinma has been expelled from this party, and I'm sure the press were here. I called you and informed you. The letters are all here. We communicated. The national chairman, the ward expelled him. The LGA looked into the matter and upheld it. The state looked at the matters from the ward to LGA, and we saw that there was merit in the case. Senator Hope Uzodinma is not a member of Imo State APC, and he stands expelled. We challenge anybody to approach the courts or to confront us on this matter, and we are ready to meet them wherever they want.
All right, welcome back. You just watched the soundbite there, the Imo APC reacting to the suspension of the governor, Rochas Okorocha. We have a guest here in Lagos who will be discussing that particular issue with us. Standing by here in our Lagos studio is Stanley Emmanuel. He is a legal practitioner. Many thanks for joining us.
Good morning. It's good to have you.
All right, and also standing by in Imo State, we have the immediate past publicity secretary of the Imo APC, Onwaso Anya. We'll talk to him in a bit, but let's get reactions here from Stanley. Welcome again, Stanley. Looking at all that has happened with the suspension of 2 governors and querying the Ondo State government, would you say, or governor rather, would you say that of the APC, the Ogun State governor, that's Senator Amosun, was, long overdue with him, fronting another party, in the state, standing side by side with the APC?
As a matter of fact, I would say the conduct of the governor of the state, Amosun, over time, since the conclusion of party primaries, for me, it's a sad commentary on our polity. Brazen immunity. The governor decided that he will go his own way irrespective of what the party says. You will recall that initially there was information in town that he compiled the list of House of Assembly members, House of Rep, and the Senate, and of course his successor as party candidate before the national body of the APC intervened in the circumstance. And as such, he got angry and literally floated a party called APN, a party that has a semblance with APC. He has been campaigning openly for his candidate across board. Yet, he's still in APC and he just won, he's a senator elect on the platform of APC. That's the height of impunity. I think the party has done the property. Otherwise, other party members who may face similar circumstances will be a burden to take the party down.
Okay, hold that thought, Barrister. We are getting signals from Imo State. Let's join the immediate past publicity secretary of the All Progressives Congress in that state, Onwaso Anya. Many thanks for joining us on Galaxy today as we look at the suspension of the governor of the state, Rochas Okorocha, from the APC. In your opinion, looking at all that has transpired in Imo State before the general elections, would you say that the governor had it coming? Okay, I think we lost signals there. We'll try and reconnect with Onwaso Anya. But just to remind you once again that you can be a part of this conversation, feel free to interact with us on our social media platforms using the hashtag Galaxy Today. You can also send SMS if you have questions or if you want to be a part of this program. Please don't call, just send us an SMS. It might be a contribution, might be a question for our guests here in Lagos and of course outside Lagos. Just send an SMS and we will be on to you swiftly. Go ahead, Stanley.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, we all know that it was wrong in the eyes to see you campaigning for another candidate in your own party. But do you think the suspension is enough to cause the kind of correction needed? How are we so sure that this is not going to repeat in the next future? Are you saying that being suspended is the only penalty that can be given to such act?
No, not at all. If you look at Article 21 of the APC Constitution, the National Working Committee is empowered to suspend any member of the party that engages in anti-party activities.
Okay.
And the conduct of the governor is the height of anti-party activity. But the National Working Committee does not have the power of expulsion. So the National Working Committee has recommended to the National Executive Committee of the party that the governor be expelled from the party, provided the constitution of the APC, in consonance with the provisions of fair hearing as enshrined in the 1999 constitution, which is the ground norm upon which all party rules must follow. Provided those provisions are followed, the party is in order. They must have queried him, he must have responded or failed to respond, and of course the National Working Committee took the decision to suspend him and recommended his expulsion to the National Executive Committee. That is in order. You said what import it will make in
You'll answer what import it will make. We've been able to get Imo State back. Joining us right now is the immediate past publicity secretary of the All Progressives Congress in Imo State, Onwaso Anya. Many thanks for joining us once again as we look at the suspension of the governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha, by the NWC of your party. In your opinion, you think it's a long time coming? The punishment as it is meted out to the governor, was it well deserved? Okay, I will repeat the question once again. We're looking at the suspension of your governor, Rochas Okorocha, by the All Progressives Congress. I just asked a question. If it was a long time coming, if it is well deserved, looking at all the activities that had happened in Imo State just before the national elections.
Well, I do not mention if we are a party governed by law, like we should be. What happened is that a cabal in the All Progressives Congress National Working Committee actually had to do what they have to do in order to please certain people, certain interests. But in the reasons of it and going by the Constitution and ideologies of the All Progressives Congress, Owele Anayorocha Okorocha remains the leader of the APC in the Southeast, remains a founding member of the All Progressives Congress. Because the law was not followed, there are laid down procedures on expelling or suspending or even disciplining, penalizing any member of the party. One of the
Let me try to get one question once again in. We lost you at some points there in your summation. So invariably you're saying that what the NWC of the APC said concerning your governor does not hold water.
It doesn't hold water.
From Imo State, we seem to be having a bit of distortion from there. We've been speaking with Onwaso Anya. He is the immediate past publicity secretary of the Imo APC. Many thanks for being a part of Galaxy today. Just before we took Imo State, we were going to explain to us the import of the suspension on Amosun.
In view of his anti-party activities over time, the party, quote unquote, has been in confusion in Ogun State. You see him campaigning for the president in one breath, and from national position or National Assembly, Senate, House of Rep, and the State House of Assembly, governorship, is campaigning for APM candidate. Again, he campaigned for himself on the platform of APC. So much confusion. There is information in town that he stormed Abuja yesterday, and he had the audience with Mr. President. Yes, that obviously is the direct import of that sanction.
Okay, but
it is working gradually. Yeah. I'm sure he's looking for soft landing.
Okay, a fallout of what he said when he was asked by newsmen to comment on his suspension. He said he was not going to say anything right now because it is an election period, that whatever he is going to say might really affect the election in Ogun State, but he will leave that till after the elections are done. In your opinion right now, the question would be that what impact does his suspension have on the chances of the APC in Ogun State as they go to polls on Saturday?
It's very straightforward. The APC is trying to stamp party supremacy on the faces of members of the party. Now for the governor, I'm sure by the time he returns from Abuja to Ogun State, he will have a rethink and see how he could call his members, APC members and APM members, to perhaps collapse the structure of the APM into the APC and then move on. Otherwise, of course, if he continues the way he's doing, APC will suffer And his own fringe party, APM, whose party is campaigning for his candidate, will equally suffer. The PDP may be in a position to just enjoy the benefit of this crisis. Bear in mind that the PDP has its own internal crisis too in Ogun State.
Okay, but does this not point out? Does this not point to the fact that there's a whole lot going on with the APC? A whole lot of people say there's APC is not organized. There's this kind of disunity amongst them. Is this not a pointer that the party actually needs to look inward and probably put things in place before they come out? I mean, way before the election, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. If you look at the nature of APC, you know that APC is a rainbow party.
Okay.
Many parties fused together to form APC. That was in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. You have a faction of ABGA, led by Rocha's Okorocha. You have CPC, led by Mr. President. You have ACN, led by Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu. And then you have another party, another interest coming together to form a party called APC. So you are bound to have this kind of contention.
Okay,
internal
conflict of interest.
crisis. So each block of the party is trying to stamp relevance on the face of the other. For example, the Ogun State faculty, you will see that the loyalty of the governor is directed to the president, not indeed to the party. APC. He may not be comfortable with the influence of the Asiwaju of Lagos in the southwest, and as such, is making this move. He belongs to the CPC bloc. You will recall he contested on the platform of AMPP, and then you have AMPP became a CPC, a faction of AMPP became CPC. He has had this relationship with Mr. President. And then you have Asiwaju bloc, ACN. So these patterns will always come in. These are forces contending for relevance within the same party. So with time, APC, the blocks in APC will met properly. I'm therefore not surprised at the moment that we have this crisis in APC. It's expected. A rainbow party, it's expected.
All right, we will go to Abuja now to get more reactions. This time around, let's join the National Secretary of the Social Democratic Party. Just recall that the SDP endorsed President Muhammad Buhari ahead of the presidential election. Many thanks for joining us, Mr. Shehu Gabam, as we look at these issues developing. Let's start off with the suspension of key APC members by the NWC. In your opinion, was the NWC in order, or do you think these people who were suspended, the governors of Imo State, Ogun State, and of course the governor of Ondo State who was queried, was it well-deserved for that?
Man will tell you that what the APC did was quite in order. We cannot allow individuals to become emperors or monsters after using a platform to get to the position they have gotten. Party must assert authority, must assert discipline, irrespective of the status of the individual. If you could recall vividly before the election, we in SDP, we asserted the authority of the party. We also suspended and expelled people who feel they are above board, they are untouchable. The party is supreme. The institution of the party must be respected, irrespective of the divergent views. Divergent views are something that must happen within the party, but when party take a decision, every member of the party must abide by it. Whether it pleases you or not, you must abide by it. You know, the party is being governed by laws. You can't have a party giving an order and an individual doing something differently, you know, without regard to the party and so on and so forth. So if we are committed to building a strong institutions, a strong political parties, we must sanction people that disrespect that institution. If you could remember vividly, in 1999, when PDP came on board, you know, they wielded their stick of certain individuals who feel they are above board, and that restored discipline in the party. So any serious party that want to provide decent, responsible leadership must also be prepared to have consequences for those who will continue to disrespect and disobey the parties. I think they did what they did was right. There was nothing that was foul out of the decision that they have taken. We have done the same thing in the SDP and will continue to purge the party from individuals that are being used as an agent to destabilize the party at all times.
All right, Mr. Gabam, thanks for your inputs there. Still talking about this anti-party activity, you said you gave an instance of what happened with the SDP. So as it is right now, the governor of Ogun State is yet to make comments specifically on his suspension, while that of the Imo APC is saying that what the NWC did is not in order. How do you begin to reconcile the workings of the national body and that of the regional body? Aren't they working at cross purpose? And what effect does it really have on members and, of course, chances as we still have more elections to come?
I strongly believe the constitution of APC have empowered the NWC that's in charge of running party activities on day-to-day affairs. And they have the power to suspend, to recommend expulsion of any individual that is misbehaving, that is not obeying the rules of the party. They definitely have the power and the authority to do that. We in SDP, we have that power to do that. The individuals have the power to suspend, to recommend for exposure for any individual that do not respect our do's and don'ts. So I don't see any reason why anybody should say that the NWC have no power. They have the power to take that decision very, very clearly, very decisively. Otherwise, they shouldn't be NWC. You know, there are three organs of a political party that are very strong. One, the convention is the number one authority of the party. Two, the neck of the party is the second command of a political party. The third is the NWC, you know, that is a major force in deciding, in running daily affairs of political parties. So definitely the NWC have the authority, have the sagacity, and have the audacity to decide on any member who decide to disobey or disrespect the party. Otherwise, the party can go into shambles. Once the individual was elected under a platform and became more powerful and have access to resources, he can decide to disorganize the political party. So there must be consequences. There must be a deterrence for any member of a political party. Nobody is above board and no individual is indispensable. I think asserting authority is what defines a political party. Any party that cannot assert authority, cannot take decisions, have not started, or they are just a briefcase political parties. Once you are an operational political parties, you deal with daily crisis of political party, you must take decisions that are very assertive, that are very, very clear, and a clear message to any member of the party. Unless you are not an operational person, and like I said, you shuttle with your INEC certificate as a political party here and there, you have nobody to govern. But once you manage people, people of authority, you must take very firm decisions.
Bam, finally, just in a minute so we can let you go. Let's talk ahead the Cuba Post, which is just about 5 days from today. You know, the SDP was in alliance with the PDP for the presidential election. What is the stand of the SDP as the states go into elections? That's one. And secondly, what do you think INEC should be doing to address some of those hitches that occurred during the national elections? Very quickly, sir.
Like you said, it's strictly at the presidential level only. All our gubernatorial candidates in SDP at the various states still stand. We are supporting them 100%. Our state assembly members, we are supporting them 100%. Unless states where we don't have a gubernatorial candidate, then of course we'll look at those circumstances and see how we can deal with them. Again, INEC have to do or be much, much better in conducting the governorship and the state assembly election, given the experience of the last election, which they did very well. So I believe where they have erred, they have the opportunity to correct it and to continue to purge the system to ensure that we have a very stable and purified electoral process that is full of discipline, and also we're committed to deploying sensitive materials as everyone do.
We've been speaking with Shehu Gabam. He is the National Secretary of the Social Democratic Party. He joined us live from Abuja to look at issues concerning anti-party activities and, of course, the forthcoming governorship polls. We'll go back to Imo State very quickly and see if we can get better connection this time around from Onwaso Anya, the immediate past publicity secretary of the All Progressives Congress in Imo State. Many thanks for joining us once again. Can you just summarize your thoughts concerning all that has played out in Imo State concerning the APC, specifically with the suspension of the governor?
Remains the Southeast leader of the All Progressives Congress, the National Working Committee of the party, led by His Excellency Comrade Adams Osun, knows that they did not follow the law, the laid down procedures as enshrined in suspending a member of the party. Following that, especially as enshrined in Article 21 of the...
All right. Go ahead, please. All right, I guess that's as much as we can take. Do we have better signals right now from Imo State? All right, that's as much as we can take from Imo State. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back and talk to our other correspondents. We still have Barrister Stanley Imaron here with us in our Lagos studios. Let's take this report from Oyo State, where various political parties have teamed up with the People's Democratic Party to trump out the APC for the governorship polls. We'll be right back after this quick one to join us again.
The outcome of our meeting, we are moving forward. We in the Social Democratic Party, we have resolved to work with the People's Democratic Party in Oyo State, and we shall be supporting engineers for government. Things remain the same. They remain the parties that they are. But for the governorship election on the 9th of March, we have all resolved to work for the candidate of the PDP. Do you know how many parties are operating in Oyo State? There are so many of them. So we have an open book, and everybody is plugging into that book. For now, so it's a developing story.
How many parties?
The interpretation is that the state is moving forward. We are very happy with the development. As you can see, Engineer Sheyi Makinde is here, he's smiling. I am here, I am smiling. Some of our other colleagues are possibly still with their caucus, and I believe they are also smiling.
It's a free world, and I believe this election is about godfathers versus the masses. And I can tell you clearly that the masses will win. Like the learned Silk mentioned, it's an open book. People are free to plug in. SDP they've declared before now. AD they've declared before now. They've been working with us. And then this is the governorship candidate of SDP who also just declared his support for us and for a unity government in Oyo State. We understand they're currently meeting with the caucuses. It's an open book again. Maybe tomorrow, maybe a day before election, they may also plug it. So we leave everything open.
Welcome back. It is still Galaxy today. Let's see some of those messages that have come in. We are also told that we're getting signals from Ogun State will join them shortly. If Rochas Okorocha of Imo State is being suspended, why did INEC give him certificate and also announce his victory as a senator? The party's internal working has nothing to do with the Independent National Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission gave him certificate of return before the party eventually suspended him. The barrister would react to that. This one just said simply, why now? The president, okay, I'm not understanding this. Okay, try and, this one is writing to us from Taraba, Ima from Taraba State. Try and reconstruct your sentence so we can take your comment. This one simply says, hi guys, hi you. So send us a message so we can, talk to you. Barrister Stanley, just react to what this viewer sent from Imo State. He was talking about Rochas being given certificate of return when he's been suspended by, or after suspension from his party.
Yes, suspension, discipline of party members, purely internal affair of the party side.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with INEC. He has been elected a senator. The party cannot expel him from being a senator. So he can decide if the crisis is not managed properly.
Okay.
If it's expelled, it doesn't affect what will happen is and then the party may decide what to do thereafter. Okay. So it's purely an internal affair of the party.
With this whole thing going on, is it does the party constitution allow them to defect to another party in the midst of all this?
What happens usually is that unless there is a break from the top of the party, like what happened in the PDP era, elected members are not expected to defect to other political parties.
Okay.
Where you do that, you ordinarily should allocate your seats. But we've seen defection here and there. Until the court makes a pronouncement on it, you cannot just declare that seat vacant. You will recall that on several occasions, pressure was mounted on Senate President Saraki to declare some seats of defectors vacant. But they could not do that because only the court of law can indeed follow through in that regard. If you declare the seat vacant, the party affected, the candidate affected may go to court and set it aside. So there are procedures to be followed in that regard.
Okay.
All right, we'll take more procedures and we'll get some legal angle to it. But let's talk to the Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress in Ogun State, Tunde Oladunjoye. Many thanks for joining us on Galaxy today. Does it really worry you right now that there's, would I say, a bit of a parallel party, the APC and the APM in Ogun State? What are the chances of your candidate for the forthcoming elections in the state on Saturday, judging by all of these intra-party activities and the suspension of the governor?
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity, and I want to commend your efforts. As far as the suspension of Governor Amosun is concerned, it is a good omen for the party because members have been very disturbed. Members have been very worried with his anti-party activities, for which he has been touting and dropping the name of Mr. President. Now, it's very clear to our members that Mr. President remains a party man to the core and is not in support of the anti-party activities of Governor Amosun. So rather than the suspension affecting our fortunes at the election negatively, it's going to help us further because a lot of people he has been deceiving are already leaving him, are already decamping from his APM and joining us. That's number one. Number two, the APC won the presidential election in 14 out of the 20 local governments in Ogun State. That's number one. Number 2, we won 6 House of Rep slots out of 9 in the last election. We won 3 seats out of the 3 senatorial seats in the last election. And while our party polled over 280-something thousand polls in the last election, the party that was closest to us, ADC, African Democratic Congress, scored 25,000. And APC, APM of which Amosun is touting and sponsoring, scored a paltry 23,000. So as of today in Ogun State, APC is the party to beat. APC is the most popular party. That is why we are saying that we want free and fair election. We want the military to dispatch soldiers to Ogun State to ensure security. We are not saying that soldiers should be dispatched to polling booths. No, it is not their functions to be at the polling booths. But we are saying that the Nigerian Army, the federal government, should protect lives and property by putting soldiers in strategic areas. For example, at the last election, 4 commissioners of police were posted to Ogun State. That was the first time in the history of elections in Ogun State. But despite the presence of 4 commissioners of police in Ogun State, even a police officer was killed. And up till now, no arrest has been made by Ogun State police concerning that murdered police officer. The NLC, Nigerian Labour Congress, is planning a protest over unpaid salaries, deduction of workers' cooperatives, which the governor has not been remitting. The governor has gone to the national stations, radio stations, to say that if we deal with the NLC workers and labor leaders, if they should dare protest in Ogun State tomorrow. So Ogun State, the governor has made Ogun State a dark spot. We want adequate security. Our people are ready to vote. And we want our life to be secure, to be guaranteed. That is our basic demand.
To also look at it from this angle, I just want to pose these 2 questions to you. Do you not think that the governor's reaction during the party campaign, is that not seen as a clash of interest between the APC and Governor Bukunle Amosun? And secondly, I also want you to tell us, do you not think that this reaction or this action of his would affect the Guba poll this Saturday in Ogun State?
I said before that action will affect the Guba polls positively. A lot of people that the governor has been deceiving, that he was untouchable, that the president was supporting his anti-party activities, we now know that he's on his own. Ogun State voters are not confused. We have a highly literate electorate. The workers in Ogun State, the civil servants in Ogun State are not confused. They know who has been deducting their salaries. They know who have been taking pensions without remitting. They know the governor that has sacked labor leaders for demanding their wages. So we are not confused. And like I've said, the last election has proven that APC is the party to beat in Ogun State. The new APM that the governor is sponsoring scored less than 5% of total votes. Even at the governor's constituency, APC voted 10,000 votes against him, against his senatorial ambition. So we are focused on the election. We are appealing to our people not to be intimidated. Security should be provided and will be provided. Our people should come out en masse to vote. The governor said civil servants in Ogun State and the leaders have no brain. He said so. 2016 is on record. So the people in Ogun State, the workers in Ogun State, needs to come out and show him through their PVC.
in and ask this one very quickly before we let you go. You're calling for the presence of the military and more security for Ogun State, despite the fact that 4 CPs were deployed to the state for the national elections. Are you foreseeing any breakdown of law or maybe any form of violence or electoral violence come Saturday as Ogun residents go to the polls?
From what we have, thank you very much, from what we have seen in the past, we raised alarm that the governorship candidate of APC will be attacked, Prince Akpabio. He was eventually attacked. We raised alarm that the president's rally in Ogun State will be disrupted. There will be violence there. It happened in the full glare of television cameras. The Mr. President was stoned. The Mr. President and members of his electorate were stoned. It has never happened in the issue of politics in Ogun State, in the issue of electioneering. Then the last election, we had 4 commissioners of police. And a police officer, a serving police officer on duty, was sacked, was killed. And up to the time I'm granting this interview, the Ogun State Police has not arrested anybody in connection with that murder of the policeman. So we have expressed our lack of belief, lack of confidence in the current Commissioner of Police in Ogun State. And we believe that the presence of soldiers will deter thugs and hoodlums and cultists that the governor wants to use.
All right, thank you so much. That's as much as we can take from our end in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. We've been speaking with Tunde Oladunjoye, the Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress in Ogun State. Barrister Stanley, very quickly, I want to get reactions before we take the break and sum up on what INEC should do for the Guber polls. You know, looking at what he has said so far, he's talking about militarization, as it were, if I have to paraphrase, for the Ogun Guber polls, saying that 4 CPs did not really make any impact.
And of course, predicted there might be violence during the gubernatorial election.
Yes, in view of the tension in Ogun State, of course, it's expected that there will be some violence, but the extent of the violence is another matter altogether. They have called for reinforcement, so to speak. Said they predicted that Mr. President would be stoned, and Mr. President was indeed stoned at the rally of the APC, and that he cited another instance. So sequentially, he is of the view that there will be violence. He is of ground there. We are not of ground there. So he understands the political temperature in the state in view of the anti-party activities of the government. Governors still go on the street after meeting with Mr. President yesterday, campaigning for APM candidates in the election. The APC member will say, you have been expelled. Yeah. So give and take. You are likely to have some clashes here and there in Ogun State.
All right, we'll take a very quick break, and when we'll come back, we'll take feedbacks from our guests, and Barrister will talk on what the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, should do ahead the Guber polls. That's our next discussion when we come back from this one. Let's take this report on INEC and some new guidelines. Stay with us.
And this is very important here. Obstruction and resistance to deployment or distribution. There are places across Nigeria, in Akwa Ibom State here, where there was resistance to deployment of men and materials. When you do that, our response will be to enter 0 votes for you. Nobody is going to fight you. We will enter 0 votes for you. That is what is going to happen, and it's contained in our guideline. I'm sure all of you here, you don't know this. Now, where the use of corridor is resisted, or at the ward level, or in the entire local government, the regulation says that what the presiding officer should do is to enter 0 votes and proceed. 0 votes, I will proceed.
I really thank INEC, particularly the commissioner here, if what we've been told will work, which I believe will work, I think election is won by the people, not by all insinuations of intimidations, harassment, and every other thing. Because every sequence of it is been detailed, the conduct, what you do, and the consequence of each of the actions. If you snatch, what will happen? If you don't use card reader, what will happen? I believe that every party should be able to go and play by the rules.
Never used to have this before in Akwa Ibom State. We will have these interactions, these consultations, and the sharing of information and knowledge on how to go about conducting yourselves during elections. We were working blindly, it would seem, but this meeting today further expands the knowledge of participants, both voters and then the critical stakeholders. You see the party aficionados that were here, the contestants themselves, are now made abreast of what the extant laws, governing the.
All right, welcome back. Independent National Electoral Commission, specifically the REC of Akwa Ibom State, and Mike Igini addressing party stakeholders ahead the Gilbert polls. Barrister Stanley, let's talk about what INEC should be doing as the various states go to polls on Saturday. What we had for the national election, what specific angles should they work on?
What INEC should do at the moment is for them to begin to dispatch the sensitive materials. The materials should get to the various central bank where they will be kept, and then put logistics in place to ensure timeous movement of those materials the night of the election, so that election will take place as at provided by hand. That's 8 a.m. and then by 2 the line will be blocked. Nobody should be disadvantaged. And of course, we expect them to ensure that the card reader this time around work faster and better. But from what we have gathered, even from local and international observers, INEC did very well in the presidential election, notwithstanding the pockets of violence recorded in some regions. There is no perfect election. They reported that the election was free, fair, and credible. Even the Electoral Act does not say a perfect election, but we must continuously improve on our electoral process. We expect INEC to improve on this job come this very Saturday. Okay,
let's take some comments before you just give us your closing salvo on this. Is the Minister for Niger Delta, Pastor Osani Ogurusani, among the suspended members? It is a good development for the party, but the APC NWC acted late. Okay, fine. Yes, it is a part of those suspended by the NWC. The suspension is long expected. That the crisis has been allowed to fester this long shows the failure of the APC in upholding justice and fairness. Okay, Amosun is fighting what he perceived to be injustice to him and his supporters in his own way. It is quite obvious that Oshiomhole and NWC are not neutral but party and privy to the crisis. To me, APC winning Ogun now remains a mirage, except rigging, okay, to its favor. Seni from Okearo. Okay. Okay, this one says, and that, okay, it is truncated. I can't take that one. If APC wants to suspend Okorocha, Amosun, and the rest, they should also suspend their national leader, Bola Tinubu, because what Tinubu did okay, I don't really understand the rest of what you said. Hi guys, concerning the suspension of Imo, Ogun Governor, and a warning letter to Ondo State Governor is a beginning of doom for the APC party. I will advise them to put their house in order. Thank you. Jide from Ikorodu. The suspension is long overdue. Amosun formed APM while Okorocha formed AA. They did that for selfish reasons. Their suspension should stand. Please, now that the two governors have been suspended and they won the senatorial seat on the platform of ACC, or APC rather, would their tickets be taken from them since it's the party they voted? Governor Okorocha's suspension by APC is long overdue, but I want to say that if the suspension will hold water, then it means APC is trading without caution, or treading rather. You wrote trading here. Just should, okay, I'm trying to paraphrase what you wrote. They should temper justice with mercy. You said other things. This one is from Mr. Mswenem Stephen from Akwanga in Nasarawa State. This one simply just says ABC or APC doesn't know what they want. Barrister, we are almost out of time. I want you to just sum up your thoughts concerning how we can build better party politics and not be having issues of anti-party activities.
Thank you very much. For the two governors in the eyes of the storm, I'll suggest that they climb down from their horse ride and cooperate with the party. On the part of the party must sanitize its internal democracy mechanism. We will recall that this crisis an offshoot of the very combustible primaries conducted by APC, have direct and indirect primaries. And on some occasions, some allege that they have no primaries at all. So you have a rainbow party where you have contending interests. The party should manage this vested interest properly so that the party will not suffer implosion. As it is now, the symbol of unity in the party is Mr. President. If you remove Mr. President from APC, APC will be in crisis, serious crisis. This will just be a child's play. So the party must reorganize its mechanism, particularly as it relates to primaries, that direct or indirect. Other primary conducted recently was something else.
All right, and reorganization the APC should be doing, according to our guest here in Lagos, that's Barrister Stanley Imaro. He is a legal practitioner. Many thanks for sharing your thoughts and inputs with us on the show.
Thank you so much. And all the way from Abuja, we had Shehu Gabam, National Secretary, SDP. And of course, we also have Amosun, the immediate past publicity secretary of APC in Imo State. And of course, Mr. Tunde Oladunjoye, publicity secretary of APC in Ogun State. We want to say very big thanks for you who sat back to enjoy the program. We will be back same time again tomorrow, still discussing politics. Make it a day with us. I am Uche Onyegulidi. Bye for now.
And I'm Justin Akadanya. We'll continue in our countdown to the Global Polls tomorrow. You want to tune in for that one. Bye for now.